On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's limited-time deal and get premium wireless service for just $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/WCB. That's mintmobile.com/WCB. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/WCB. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
The Outdoor Drive Podcast. All right, welcome back to the Outdoor Drive Podcast. This is episode 222 with your host, East Coast Trev, and I'm joined by my good buddy, Mr. Madman Mardick. What's up, dude?
That was good. It was smooth. Real smooth.
I tried going smooth, just changing it up a little bit from last time, just a little bit of difference, You can't do the same thing every time. I mean, 200 episodes later, and I decided to change it. Yeah, whatever, man. You got to do what you got to do, Just kind of got to get into the, I was just getting comfortable. You know what I'm saying? You just got to get comfortable. Like soaking cameras with no batteries. You just got to get comfortable.
I heard you're a big soaker.
Yeah, it is what it is, bro. So, what's good with you, bro? What's the good word?
Same old shit, man. Truck shopping.
Oh, yeah. That's right. The tree on the truck. Oh.
Yeah, she's totaled. No more Yoda.
Oh, then you can't be a killer no more because you don't have the Yoda, right? So, no Yoda, no killing.
You buy another Yoda.
Well, you better,
So, plus, I haven't really been much of a killer this year anyway, so maybe I didn't deserve the Yoda, and that's why Mother Nature took it away from me.
Oh, that's what happens.
You don't deserve a Toyota anymore.
No. Well, let's break right into it. We do have our good buddy Seth on the line with us here. We're going to get into his story, but we got to do a little bit of house cleaning, the normal intro, and everything that we got going on, and then we'll get on over to the regular program. So, we'll start it off. Let's start off with Huntworth. Huntworth Gear, they are the title sponsor and the only camo of the Outdoor Drive Podcast. Make sure and go and check those guys out, huntworthgear.com. You guys missed out once again on one of the biggest sales. I think, it ends tonight. Maybe?
Yeah.
I think it's just about over. Maybe you can get on over the website and check that out, but you guys missed out. They were doing a big thing on the Heat Boost Matterhorn. I mean, literally, it was almost a buy one, get one. If you guys didn't see that on social media, you probably missed out on the sale. Also, latitudeoutdoors.com. Guys, they are doing a free shipping on anything over $99. If you have your order placed by December 20th, or 15th, you will have it by the 25th, Christmas. So make sure that you get all of your orders in for Latitude Outdoors by the 15th of December so you guys can have that stuff for Christmas presents. The 10mm ropes are also a good thing to give as a gift, man. Keep your family safe and, so you guys can always have those. So make sure to get on over to Latitude. Nor'easter Game Calls. It's nor'eastergamecalls.com. Get ready for, the late season duck hunting and goose hunting and all that good stuff. You guys can check those guys out at nor'eastergamecalls.com. Bowhunters United, as always, the advocates for us as bow hunters. Some really good stuff coming from those guys. So bowhuntersunited.com. It's a free membership to kind of keep up to date with what's going on. Always writing different letters to all of your congressmen. They always got all kinds of good stuff. You can just kind of send on over. So go and check those guys out, bowhuntersunited.com. So, well, as we got through that, Stevie, let's you gotta kill us.
I gotta add something real quick because Christmas is coming.
Oh.
Nor'easter game calls.
Oh,
Check out some other stuff Mark's got. Mark makes help me out. He makes earrings and all kinds of other little things.
yeah, necklace pendants, pens, all kinds of good stuff. There's great stuff on their website. He does a ton of great gifts for your loved ones also. So not only a hunting website, but always some good gifts.
Yeah, take a look at that. Christmas is coming. Just a food for thought. Killer's Corner. Happy birthday shout outs. Seth Edwards, our man, knocking down some coyotes lately too. And did you know Buddy the Christmas Elf? Buddy the Christmas Elf.
Oh, Buddy.
Also has a December birthday.
Oh, yeah. Buddy the Elf.
Buddy the Elf. Happy birthday. Ryan Graff with a beautiful buck, and Heather MK and her husband Jonathan on his first hunt. They knocked down some geese. So congratulations.
Yeah. That was good. She brought her husband on her first hunt. So, I mean, she's always killing something. So,
I'm trying to get Seth to take me on my first goose hunt soon.
Them boys.
I'm in the business of getting people.
Yeah. You and Louie did pretty good the other day.
What? It started off a little rough, but we got it done, didn't we?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, these things happen. That's part of hunting, I guess. You just got to keep up with what's going on around you, and then I guess things will get better.
Mm-hmm. For the record, he was late.
Again?
Always.
Oh. Always. It's a thing. It's a ritual. We get it, like with women, you tell them you got to listen. Our hit time is 30 minutes before it actually is, just so because they're going to be 30 minutes late. That's what we're going to do with him.
You got to give him the old lead time,
but you got to tell Lou 3 days earlier because he might show up 3 days late.
That's right. Especially if it's a red moon.
Oh, yep. Yes! Always. Hey, listen. We know this. We know this, that there is not a safe 2.5-year-old in the woods past 8 o'clock when Lou gets to his deer stand.
Only during a red moon, though.
Oh, only on Tuesday's red moon, though.
So the important question is, we had Lou on the podcast, a couple months ago or whatever, and it was a good time. So Lou knew you were coming on the podcast tonight. How nice has he been to you lately, knowing that you were coming for retaliation?
I felt like we had a mature adult relationship for a few days. I take him goose hunting, and we're so friendly. We hug. He's like, bro, I'm so happy for you. The deer, yeah. And then I'm like putting it together, and I'm like, that motherfucker, I see it. I figured him out. He knew he wanted to keep a good thing in his mouth. He knew he didn't want me to come on his podcast and let it rip. He's been good for like a week. No arguments for a week. I should have seen it coming. I see through it.
He didn't even give you any good rebuttals.
Good, no. You know what? We're gonna see because I am a man of God. So we're gonna see.
Yeah, he might be safe.
Santa's watching.
Yes, Santa's watching. I gotta be a good boy.
Yeah.
I need a new release too under the tree. I gotta be good.
What? Oh, you lost the release throughout the season?
Oh yeah. Where have you been,
bro? I lost my $300 stand looking for that mass buck.
Oh, that's right. Oh, dude, I forgot about all that.
It's been.
I did
keep up with.
Yeah.
No, me too, bro. I'm in the same boat as you.
It's never good.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Well, man, hey, let's break right into it, dude. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do?
All right. For those that don't know me, I am Big Country 69 SB, Seth Beaulieu from Tiverton. We can't start like this, guys. We can't. It's going to be a long podcast. All right. who don't know, Rhode Island, born and raised, small town hunting. I've had the bug ever since I could walk. There's no season I don't participate in, whatever it is, and I got the drive.
That's it, man. So Seth's a team member. You guys probably heard his voice before. Seth has had the season to remember, the highs and lows of all of us. We have rode the roller coaster with Seth from the beginning. And, we took Seth on this team, as a tag puncher. And I'm not really sure if the pressure has gotten to him this season or what's going on, bro. But tell us, man. Let us know. Let the people speak. What is going on over there, bro? Like, take us through the season, where it started and where we are today, man, because there's a lot to fill a lot of people in with, and some just absolutely incredible stuff going on your side.
Incredible is a good word. As the tag puncher, I do feel quite a lot of pressure building throughout the days of the season. It's funny, heavy is the crown, I guess, I was unaware that I had that title.
Me too. I just made it up, actually.
Coming into November, I did quite feel that way. I felt, well, anyway, let's start from off rip. Last year, I had a great year. I killed the one opening day, one in September, one in opening day in Rhode Island. And then, so obviously you come off a good year, you're riding a high, right? My bow was set up good this year, a lot of confidence. Couple changes, couple good things off rip. Just you go into the season fresh and ready. That's how you want to start. That's how everybody should be. What happened? So,
well, you came off the punch. You came off the punch with a deparation tag right off the rip.
Yeah. So I'm already as far as the year goes, I'm 6th year in. I've killed 5 with a bow.
Right.
So
just so the listeners understand.
Yeah,
2 does during regular season, 2 does regular season, and then my mass buck, and then my muzzleloader buck. So two depredation tag, and then 4 regular.
Yeah. So you came out with a bang to start, and then just it kind of let out from there.
It's it's hard to say I had a bad season when you look at this. When you look at it overall. What I'm saying?
How many shooters did you put? You were in the shit all the time.
Yeah, I tell the story to people and they're like, well, hell, you look at the stats and it doesn't look like I had that bad of a year. But when you break it up through 365, because I do this year round, and you put in all the hours I put in between each one of those success stories, it doesn't always feel like it's a win. You know what I mean? You really got to take a step back and judge it for what it is, especially when shit's going haywire. You know what I mean? It's hard to have that ride a high and then I just screwed up a 130-inch opportunity that I worked all year for, and then be like, oh, well, I appreciate everything I've had already this year. It's easier said than done. I do it, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you need a little help. You need a little reality check, Anyway, so I had a good summer. I was able to kill a buck with my daughter, and that was, if nothing else happened this year, that was probably my all-time hunting moment. No questions asked. Like, that was the best moment of my life. So, we can kick it off at that. Dude, I was in Crocs. My daughter was in flip-flops, and I killed a decent velvet buck with a bow at like 5 yards with my 5-year-old filming. So, like, that's, my season could have been complete there. And it's tough to say I had a bad year after completing a situation like that, but that was amazing, dude. She filmed it. She was so excited. Like, you guys saw the footage. It's not something I like to put out there because it's an intimate thing, but and some people don't really get down with the whole crop damage thing. So I like to keep some things in house, but it was, my daughter loved it, dude. She was all over it, filmed it, watched it go down, recovered it. Tell me, she knew that, she called it a good shot as soon as I shot. Like, it was just everything a father and a bow hunter would ever want. Like, legit. Like, it was definitely a highlight of my life. No doubt. Like, I get emotional just talking about it. Like, it was everything I ever wanted.
The footage alone from that was next to none. As far as like with her recovering it and everything, that's probably one of, probably one of the most viral videos that we put out for the 2023 season. Like, it went viral with her just absolutely loving it and tracking it and everything else. She's like the mascot of the team. Like, she's just
Dude, she's ate up with it. She's ate up with it, and it's awesome. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work getting a 5-year-old out in the deer woods. You know what I mean? But especially to be successful with a 5-year-old in the deer woods is another thing. But yeah, dude, 100%. Like, as I sit here talking about it, it's like, wow, stupid. You know what I mean? Like, look at that. You know what I mean? Like, that was my year was made there. But yeah, that was awesome. I just reliving it like it's awesome every time. You know, I watch those videos constantly. But she loved it. She recovered it. She loved it. She talks about it all the time. I got to finish up that Euro mount and get it on the wall. So we started there. I had another crop damage kill with the bow. So like confidence was high coming into October. And then I took the wife hunting. She couldn't get it done. I capitalized on that doe. Opening week, I think that was the first week of October. So, dude, that ball was lights out, dude. That was good. So we're still climbing. We're climbing the ladder still coming into October, right? And then ready to rip. I killed another crop damage deer towards the end of October because I wanted to have that confidence going into November. And before my the permit expires because it doesn't last. It's only certain months, So I got that done. So that's deer 4 already for me. So, I'm having a good year, right?
Seth, I got to cut you off real quick too, just to set the stage here. You're our guy when it comes to arrow testing and broadhead testing and fletching, and like you're my go-to guy, right? So like when you say your bow's dialed in, you're dialed in. Like you shoot a lot. You know what your arrow's doing at all times.
100%. And that, like the last deer that I shot in October before going into November, I purposely stayed at a little bit farther distance. Like I needed to know what my setup was doing, going before I went into the buck hunting. Before the rut turned on, I needed to know. So like that last shot was 50 yards on the nose. And I absolutely pinwheeled that deer. Big mechanical went through him, like, hot knife through butter, and the deer didn't go 50 yards. It was beautiful. I was like, okay, that's what I needed, I changed, as some people might know, I changed my setup like I changed underwear. But I'm always looking for the next best thing. I need to be as best as I can be. I'm always trying to learn. And but sometimes that's a blessing and a curse. That's a double-edged sword, right? Because you find something that works and then you go and change it again. So you're always encountering, I'm what's the word? What's the phrase for that? I'm constantly giving myself problems. There's a phrase for that. But
I feel like you do yourself just though, because you're not just, screwing on another broadhead and heading to the timber like you hear a lot of people do. Like you're constantly testing, and when you make a change, you check everything there is to check about it until you have confidence.
100%. And there is a level of scrutiny I do before I test something. I'm not testing something that I don't have a certain level of faith in already. You know what I mean? So that, there's a level that a product's going to be at, especially when it comes to my bow, whether it be arrow, insert, outsert, broadhead, you name it, veins, wraps. So I do a reasonable amount of research before I decide to test something.
For sure. I love it because I don't have the time to do all that stuff. So I let you spend all your time doing that, and then I just check with you and can get your input.
Whether I have the time or not, I got to do it because I can't help it. I can't help it. I will say I went into this year being more confident than I ever have.
Right.
100%. And that felt good. That felt good, that the hours of research and testing and money I've spent on different things and product and invested time. That was a good feeling going into the year. Like, yeah, like if I draw back, something's going to bleed, which I think was part of the reason that I needed to this season humbled me a little bit, is because I had a confidence that I've never usually had before. Growing pains, maybe as a bow hunter, maybe that was growing pains as a hunter. I've done pretty good for myself over the years, but I think I hit some turbulence this year that definitely put things in perspective. You think you know something until you don't.
Right.
I mean, and that's one of
And I
those
think,
things, those humbling years are some of the best years where it kind of puts you back into that second guess of yourself. Like, all right, I need to take it back a notch. I need to relax. I need to focus on what is going on instead of getting lost in it, right?
100%. And I hope it's not like we're talking about it because you guys have an idea of like everything where,
Right.
I've done, tested, and played with. I hope the listeners know that like anything bow hunting related that could be tested and tried, and whether it be from setups to trail cameras to scouting, that's what we're kind of talking about. But 100, you're 100% right. And as the years winding down, especially with the recent emotional roller coaster with deer hunting, like it to reflect upon the effort put in to the result, it's something. It's something to be said. You can't learn from you don't learn from wins. You learn from your losses for sure.
Hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, and
And the same thing with perspective too. Like you can't have a good perspective if you don't lose sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
right. No, absolutely, and that's like like the guys that the only way to learn is by failing, right? And like you learn from those failures, and it's the same. I mean, that gets taken into the deer hunting woods where you have to try everything, and what some of the best things to learn are the things not to do, right? As far as like where not to hunt, what not to use in your setup, so on and so forth. So like these are those things that you're learning.
Shots to take to not to take, when to take them. You know,
Hmm.
you could take the same shot 10 times as a bow hunter, but that 11th time could teach you a thing or two.
Well, and one of the things that we talk about all the time is, the only way to learn how to kill deer is by killing deer, right? So like that's those are those
100%.
those are those things that we're talking about as far as like the failures, because you the only way you're gonna learn is by doing.
Right. And it's you listen to the guys with the blue check marks on Instagram and Facebook and whatnot, and they say these same things, but like you don't always register that they're saying these things. Like, they take shots that are 10% success shots. They end up being successful, but like the whole internet explodes because they took a low percentage shot. But they've taken these shots so many times, they know, you know what I mean? Guys that do this for a living or guys that make it a career or a lifestyle, it's they've killed enough animals with a bow or with a certain weapon system to really know, you know
Hmm.
what I mean, what the percentage actually is for your individual abilities, because that changes with per person. It's individual. It's whether it's bow hunting, it's trapping, it's gun hunting. It's your individual ability. Only and your experiences can provide that. So yeah, I mean, not to get too emotional about it, but yeah, 100%. Like you need to get the experience your way to know what your ability level is in the woods.
Absolutely. Well, man, why don't you take us into the rest of the season here? Because I can't wait to hear the stories.
I haven't even heard half
Yeah.
the stories because I've been putting
Yeah.
it off for the recording.
Yeah, I know.
Like, don't tell me. I wanna.
We like to hear it. We like to hear it full fledgedly, organically.
All right, so I'm a Rhode Island guy. So primarily, I've hunted Rhode Island my whole life, right? So, but I've been hunting Mass, a few out of state trips. Aside from out of state trips, over the last few years, Mass is my second hunting home, right? So, and I've never killed a buck in Massachusetts. That's I've hunted Mass for 7 years now, 7 years. Um, Last year, I my wife's family have some private property in Massachusetts. Last year, I had some encounters that were absolutely unbelievable. And I had probably a buck of a lifetime at 43 yards that I couldn't get killed. Whether it was me, my setup, filming might have saved that deer's life. All the above. Maybe it was I didn't send an arrow, and I could have. Um, but that really turned a switch in me, and I felt determined this year to make it happen. Um, I've Last year I put in more time than I ever have, and I kept saying that like, yo, this is the hardest property I've ever hunted. The way it lays out, the the local
Access.
population, the access, again, the layout is wild.
Mhm.
Public nearby, you name it, food, water, everything. Doe population. It's and every one of my boys have been part of the learning curve with me. So like you guys all know, you've heard me talk about it nonstop. But anyway, last year I really turned up the heat and I had a great encounter. But still didn't kill. This year I had a fire under my ass like you wouldn't believe, and I ran 12 cameras for 9 months. And I ran 9 cameras last year for probably 8 or 9 months. Um, Scouted, I mean, a ton. I put up 9 presets, ground blind for my daughter. Like, I put in a lot of me into that state this year. Whereas Rhode Island, my properties didn't change much, so I already had the learning curve figured out more so. Obviously things change year to year, but I was dedicated to killing mass buck this year for sure. So coming into November. My bucks on the property don't really turn up until the rut kicks in. Crazy as it is with the amount of land it is, but that's what happens. So we get into November, first week, second week. I had an Ohio trip planned that I did not go on. I just couldn't, personal reasons or whatever, work, home. I couldn't justify going to Ohio when I had unfinished business at home. How do you leave for a week when I have such a determination to kill a buck in mass at home? And that's always a struggle when you go to out of state trip, right? You gotta leave your home turf to go kill out of state. That's always a struggle. Unless you're already successful, that's always a tough thing to swallow. Anyway, so we're getting into November. First week goes by. I had good feelings. I was on a good note. Riding, the cameras were good. Not a lot of daylight, but optimistic, right? Setups tuned. I'm tuned. Everybody's fired up. Louis already killed 2 bucks. Everybody's killing deer. Trev killed already. JB killed a doe. I already killed a doe and the crop damage. So like we're ready. We're in the woods. The boys are fired up. First week comes in. The fire's getting hotter. Now we're getting into the second week. November 9th. I think I hunted Rhode Island a couple of times, whatever. But again, I'm focusing on mass. November 9th comes in. I hang and bang in a spot. I have the week off. I hang and bang in a spot I haven't hunted yet. And because of that, and this is a spot that Steve and I have talked about a couple of times, but I overlooked for years. And why, I don't know, but I gave it a shot, and I set up wrong. Well, I say I set up wrong, but anybody that hang and bangs knows, like, especially if you're hanging and banging in a spot you've never hunted before, how do you know where they're coming from? How do you know? You can guess on the activity, but if it's not a significant run, you don't know. So long story short, I was facing the wrong direction in my saddle. I was facing south. I should have been facing north. Right. Well, I set up to where I thought the activity was going to come from, where my strong side shot was going to be. A doe came in. I did a rattle sequence. It's getting like, it's 4 o'clock. Cameras were good that morning. I set up. I did a rattle sequence at 4 o'clock, grunting, rattled. It was a cold front, I believe. So it was just good. It was a good day to be in the woods. I did a rattle, grunted, whatever, hung up the horns, and I'm sitting there enjoying the afternoon. Here comes a doe from my weak side to my strong side, but loops and gets downwind. So it was one of those just an off wind type of sits. And she gets downwind, but she was like maybe a 2-year-old doe, wasn't that smart, but she knew something wasn't right. And to be honest, I almost smoked her. She came in, she gave me a good shot. I almost smoked her, but I always struggle, because that's how we get the title of being a tag puncher. You want to punch tags. So she came in broadside. I did not kill her because I'm not going to mention any names, but he might be part of this podcast. Yelled at me because it's November 9th and I had bucks on camera and I was going to kill a doe. Steve, I didn't shoot her. 5 minutes later. No, 5 minutes later, here he comes, right? I hear movement. Of course, it's coming my weak side and it's coming from my back. So this buck's coming. I don't know what buck it is. I can't see what it is. And it's coming from behind me. So you just have that feeling, right? Every bow hunter knows you got that feeling when it just sounds different. Mm-hmm. So he's coming from my backside. So I get turned just enough. And he's coming from my right to my left. And now I'm thinking in my head, is he coming to the rattle? Is he coming to the base of my tree? Or is he catching that doe scent and he's going to follow her ass? So he kind of goes in the middle and the wind is dying down, which is not good because it's swirling a little bit.
Mhm.
Obviously, a stiff wind is a little bit better. So I'm getting nervous. Now, for some reason, I was overly excited because I've been hunting mass for all these years, and like the pressures in that specific state, I feel more pressure because like I want to make it happen. You know, what I mean, this is what I'm working for. So this buck comes in, and I can't tell which buck it is I have on camera yet. I can't tell if it's one of my shooters, but you get a glimpse of that rack, and you knew it was like I saw a glimpse, shooter, no doubt, right? So like bow in hand, let's go, and I had no shot, and now he's into like 22 to 25 yards, and he's kind of splitting the run I wanted to be on and the run that doe's on. So I don't know if he's looking for that buck because his head was down. He was real cautious, like he was looking aggressive. Like I didn't hear him grunt, but it was like he was coming in like ready, like looking. He was trying to find that antler. So maybe he was following the doe, but he knew there was another buck around. You know, whatever it may be. Long story, he was going the same direction as the doe, and now I'm like, yo, he's gonna get downwind. So I come to full draw. I can't get the camera on him because it was either grab the bow or grab the camera. And he came in from my weak side. So I grabbed the bow, I turned right around, and he's coming in on a string. Cautious, but on a string. And I don't know if he's going to turn towards me or if he's going to turn towards the doe's path. So I got the bow, I'm ready. I couldn't even get the GoPro on. It's one of the, by the time I saw him, by the time he was in bow range, it was like that. So I got the bow. He's coming in, his head bobbing, he's low, he's like in that sneak position, right? And I saw his rack, and I knew this was a shooter, no doubter. And he comes to like I said, 22, 25. I get the full draw. I'm like, as soon as he gives me a hole, I got to take the shot because if he gets to where that doe is, he's going to be down when I'm screwed. So, or he's going to come in tight, and I have no cover, and I'm not going to be at full draw yet. So I come to full draw, and I'm 180 in my saddle, and I'm still with this new tether we're working with the latitude. I was working out I was playing with the heights, and usually have it set a little bit differently, but I was playing with it at the time, and I had it it was hitting my draw arm, so I was struggling to get into my peep. So I'm just not. I couldn't get in. I get in. I'm a full draw. This deer's coming in, and I'm find the hole. I'm like, all right, if he gets to this hole, I'm good. He turns a little bit. He goes a different hole. So now I'm at full draw for like a minute and a half. Finally, he comes in. Ugh, I want to say he was carted away, but this is all happening in a matter of seconds. I'm drawing it out. I'm sorry, but this is how I feels in my head, like this dramatic situation, right? And this is happening in 2 seconds. So whatever, he comes in, and I guessed him to be between 20 and 25, which my pin set at 25. I think he was probably 18 to 20 after going back to the shot location. Regardless, he gives me an opening. I say to myself, listen, now or never. Like, it's 20 yards. Pause real quick. I run a fixed blade and a mechanical in my quiver. Some people don't understand it. Some people get it. I think it's situational. My bow is tuned for both. 2 broadheads I trust. I was in tight quarters, didn't know the direction of the animal, so I wanted to go with a fixed blade in case I got a 1/4-2 shot. Now, moving forward, I take the shot on this animal. I hit him high, and I hear a pow. And I knew as soon as I released, right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel right. Granted, the distance and the amount the effort I put into practice and this and that, I'm like, there's no way that I'm not killing an animal broadside according away at 20 yards. It's not happening. Like, I just, I'm confident, right? So I'm telling myself this after I shoot this deer. Like, I hear a pop, like not a pop, but like a pow. Like, I just shot through like a 2x4. I watch my knock bury through the deer. That's it. He runs away, takes off to the north. All right. Shot. I just released an arrow on my first mass buck. I'm amped. But I got that in the back of my mind, like, that was high. I knew it was high. I knew it was a touch high. But again, I got to pass through, like, fixed blade. I'm good, right? Whatever, get down, call the boys. My brother-in-law comes, meets me. It's been about an hour and a half. No arrow, which is weird. Like, I'm pulling heavy weight, good speed, fixed blade, great penetrating that setup. Can't find the arrow. Can't find first blood. Now I'm like, what the hell? Here we go. I'm off to a good start. So it was 2 hours since I shot. We go to find blood. Finally, I know where he went. Find blood. I find my arrow covered in pink blood. Beautiful. This is a win. Let's go. This deer ran right by my trail camera. So like, okay, follow his trail for about 100 yards. Not as a crow flies, but like 100 human yards tracking, right? So probably 80 yards for him, 100 yards for me. The blood trail wasn't what I wanted it to be, and I knew it was a little high, so I know that his chest cavity is probably taking a lot of blood, um, especially with a high exit. I get to where there's a swamp, and I know there's a swampy area. It's like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Me and my brother-in-law, and the last blood I found was good pink foamy blood. I'm like, all right, this is coming out of his mouth. I got 2 holes. Arrow looks great. This is lung blood. I'm backing out. Like, I know this deer's dead. I'm backing out. I don't want to push him into the swamp. I don't want to push him into the neighbor's public. Like, let's back out. I got tomorrow off. I'll get him in the morning. Leave, go home. I feel pretty confident. Like, last blood was great. I feel confident. Next morning, Louis is gonna meet me at 5:30. We're gonna go track this deer.
What time did you get there?
5:30 p.m.
Oh, 10:30 in the morning, 10:30, 11, maybe something like that. So 5 o'clock comes around. We're up. I'm getting dressed.
Noon.
Something came up. Louis is the no-show, right?
Where's Lou?
So I'm like,
shooting 2.5-year-olds.
So whatever. I tell myself, I look at the forecast. Rain's at 2 o'clock now. Perfect. I'm like, you know what? I sit there. I have breakfast with my daughter. I let the dogs out. I make a coffee. I'm like, there's no need to relax. Like, no need to rush. Like, this deer's dead. I got time. Like, I'm trying. One of those moments where like, well, don't. It's not work. Like, this is why we do it. Enjoy it, right? So just trying to calm myself down a little bit. Buy some time because Louis is gonna meet me. Long story short, my mother-in-law calls me. It's starting to rain. Now, mind you, I live an hour away from my Massachusetts spot. So that changes my entire perspective of the situation. I jump in the truck. I screw up there. I hit traffic. Takes me an hour and 45 minutes to get there. I'm in a downpour. It opened up on the way there. Get there, rain gear on, get the hunt with rain jacket, got my bow, release,
Rubber boots.
rubber boots. I hit the track. Gone, non-existent. It just poured. I was hoping that the woods were going to protect it. Not a drop. Louis ended up coming at like 10:30. Him and I looked for 6 hours. Nothing. Not another drop. And that's, him and I have tracked several deer over the years, dude. Like, and if there's blood to find, we're going to find it. We looked every square inch of that property and there was nothing. I was convinced that a neighboring hunter on the public property took my deer because there was a ladder stand 40 yards away from last blood that I was unaware that was there. Well, that was that story. So I shot this deer on the 9th, November 9th, tracked it all day, 2 hours on the 9th, all day on the 10th. Lost my release while tracking this deer. $300 stand, which for those who don't know, when you go from a wrist strap to a thumb button, it changes your draw length. It changes your knock point. Like it changes your anchor point. Your anchor point. And it just, it changes your mental. So it's November 10th. I can't find blood. I can't find this deer. I lost my release and a stump destroyed my rubber boots from the bottom up. I'm having a good day. This deer just disappeared, dude. I mean, the blood trail wasn't amazing, but after the last blood that I found, it was very promising to go from that to 100 to 0. No trace of the deer, no trace of the blood, nothing. That was it. Like we looked for 6.5, 7 hours, plus all the time the night before, nothing. Three of us looked all day. Plus I lost my release, the boots. So I went from here to 0 real quick. That's November 9th into the 10th. I got nothing, right? And I can't go hunt that afternoon because it's already 3:30 and we've tracked all day and I'm exhausted and disappointed. So that's another day during the middle of the rut that I lost. Now it's November 10th and I lost my release. November 10th and I lost my release. So like not ideal. So now it's 8 o'clock at night and November 11th, the next day, our favorite day of the year. And I'm shooting in the dark with my wrist strap, trying to gain confidence again. Not ideal. So, yeah, so that's what happened. So I didn't find this deer. I have, like I mentioned, he ran by a trail camera. I pull the card, bring the card home, put it on the computer. Exit wound. Now, mind you, I got a pass through, full pass through, fixed blade, exit wound, right behind the shoulder, touch high, under the spine, right behind the shoulder. Blood on camera coming out of this deer. Now, so I have proof of the exit hole. I have proof of pass through. I have proof of pink foamy lung blood coming out of this deer's mouth at last blood. This is a dead deer. I'm disgusted. Okay. So that's the story.
Moving forward, in your head, you're confident this deer's dead somewhere. You just can't find it, correct?
100%.
Yep.
I put a hole through this deer. Whether I got one lung or two, there's a hole in this deer's lungs. And he's not. It's not a matter of if he's dead. It's a matter of where and how far.
Correct.
Like, he's a dead deer. No question. Like,
Correct.
You're not punching in the lungs and he's going to live. It's just a matter of how far he's going to run before he dies. Right.
Yep.
And we all had you guys were all helping with discussion. You're not getting underneath the spine, behind the shoulder, and not getting the front side lung. So there's no way that I didn't get both lungs, but maybe I just nicked one and center punched the exit wound, the exit hole, the opposite lung. Whatever it may be, I know I smoked the opposite lung because I have proof of the exit hole and lung blood. So whatever. So I'm racking my brain. I don't understand. My confidence is low. This is a dead deer. I'm disgusted. This is Massachusetts. I put all this effort in for that. Like, how many it's just, that's not a good thing. It's not a win. And now again, I'm in the middle of a rut and I lost my $300 release and a deer. So moving forward, what are you going to do, right? I have vacation time to hunt the rut. You're going to make the most of it, right? You're going to take it on the chin. You win some, you lose some. Anybody that's bow hunting long enough you're going to lose a deer, right? It's going to happen. And again, if it was a perfect shot, maybe he wouldn't have made it 100 yards. So there's fault of mine there. And I know that I took a shot that I should have not forced as much. I should have waited. I should have drew later. I should have relaxed. I could have, would have, right? But I had a buck at 22 yards, broadside, quartering away, and I had a hole. I took the shot that I felt I needed to, right?
Right.
I stand by it, whether right or wrong. I would take that shot again. I wish, these factors are the culminating to the end result, right? So we move forward. No, lost that deer, lost my release. Now, I don't know the date, but muzzleloader is open in Rhode Island. I'm hunting. I'm practicing my bow, trying to get back into it. No encounters for a few days. No dead deer showed up. So I'm in Rhode Island with the muzzleloader. Now, I would like to be with the bow, but why would I hunt with the bow when I lost my release and have zero confidence, right? So I take the muzzleloader out. Love my muzzleloader. It's shooting tacks at 150 yards, 100 yards, 50 yards, like, good to go. My CVA is beautiful. I'm in the woods, spot that I've left on for 2 years. You're laughing. I don't know why you're laughing. I'm in the woods.
Good.
I'm in the woods. I got the muzzleloader, dude. It's a beautiful morning. I can't remember the date. I don't remember the date, but I haven't hunted a spot in 2 years. So the sun comes up. I wait until the sun's just high enough where there's no shadows. I hit a rattle sequence. Grunting. I get the nor'easter in my mouth. I'm grunting. I'm rattling. I'm a little aggressive. I feel like I'm a little frustrations are coming out in the antlers. So I'm hitting them pretty good. Sun's up. I put them away, and as I put the horns down, I realized there's a scrape 5 yards from my tree stand that I did not know was there because I've left this tree stand alone for 2 seasons. Whatever. I was like, oh, look at that. That's cool, right? So I put the horns down. I put the call away. 10, 15 minutes goes by. I see movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 does coming right from where I want them to. From food to bed. I'm cutting them off in the morning. Perfect scenario, right? Winds are right. Here they come. They're coming at me. Wind's good. These does hook all the way around me, skip their bedding area, and it's like they're going to go back to another field to feed at 7 o'clock in the morning. I still don't make sense of it. Don't understand it because they just left one field. They go all the way around me, and I have 3 angles, 3 sides of me, 180 degrees of Good wind. They go all the way around me, loop around me, get to my downwind side. Why? I have no idea. But so now I got my muzzleloader. There's 6 deer coming. I'm sitting down at this point. These does come in. The lead doe catches something, whether it's my cover scent, whether it was my scent drag, or she got the wind swirled and got downwind. I'm still not sure. But she knows something's wrong, and I got 6 does, and right where they are, I have no cover. Go figure. But whatever. I'm watching them. I'm not moving. I got the muzzleloader in my hand. I see movement. And in my head, you it's middle of November. You got does in front of you. Here, where's the buck? Sure enough, here comes a buck. Good deer. Another good deer. Now I'm thinking to myself, I got redemption. Like I lost a good deer in Massachusetts. Here we go, right? And it was another one of those things. I don't know what deer it is because I don't even have cameras at the spot. But it's a no doubt a shooter. You get that glimpse, you're like, here we go. Like you're just your heart skips a beat. Like let's go. He's a shooter. I don't care what it is. It's a shooter. You know what I mean? Like I need a win. I just lost. We're gonna get a win today. I got the muzzle in my hand. Here he comes. Now I'm facing these does because this buck's gonna be on their ass. Comes in. Now, mind you, thick as hell in the spot. Super thick. I still can't even count the points. That's how thick he is. And he's under 30 yards. He takes a J hook right at like 30-yard mark. He boom hooks. And instead of following the does, he turns right to my tree and is beelining in a line straight for me. I'm looking down. I see the scrape at 5 yards. I'm realizing I just did a rattle sequence. So he doesn't care about the does right now. He's trying to come check the scrape, see what buck is in the area because I was just rattling. That's my best guess of the situation. So I'm kind of turned faced because I expected him to follow these does, and this buck's coming to 20 yards. Well, 30, 25, 20 yards on a string. Mind you, I got these does having a stroke behind me because they're not blowing, they're not running away, but she's starting to stamp. And this buck is beelining for me. And now he's at 18, 20 yards walking to me, and this doe is stomping behind me. I'm like, she's going to blow any minute, and she's going to spook this buck. So in my mind, I'm like, and I'm only facing him with my head. I'm like, as soon as he gives me a window, that's when I pull up because I can't move until I'm ready to shoot because this doe she's going to peg me. So now he's getting to 15 yards. There's going to be a window as soon as he gets this close. Now, I can't let him get to the base of my tree because he's going to get my ground scent. But again, in the morning, in the dark, I didn't know that scrape was there. So whatever. He gets to 12 yards, and I see a window, and I'm like, listen, it's now or never. Like, I got to take this animal because these does are going to bug and ruin it. So he gets to 12 yards. I see a window. His whole front of he's facing me. Now, this is a controversial shot, right? But it's 12 yards. I'm confident with the weapon. It's 12 yards. Mind you, 12 yards. Say that again. It's 12 yards.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
12 yards.
Okay.
And this thing's a tag driver, right? And I've taken this shot successfully before. So he gets to that window in one motion. I bring the gun to my shoulder. I pivot my hips. I bring the gun to my shoulder. I drop the hammer. I bring my cheek to the gun. I find my eye relief, like one motion, because like it's a matter of seconds to make this happen before that doe loses her shit. So he gets to that window. Boom! I pull up. I get comfortable. I put the crosshairs on his chest. Bang! Boom! Smoke clears. He does a leap. Goes back to like 25 yards. He stands there. Stops. Those kind of take off. They run 20 yards away. Now I'm sitting there like, oh shit, right? I just shot this deer at 12 yards frontal. Like, now my adrenaline's through the roof. Now he's standing there. His tail's going a mile a minute. What the hell? I'm like, yo, I smoked him. He's going to drop right here. Let's go, right? Let's go. And he doesn't drop. He just starts walking. He does like a 20-yard loop, goes to where the does were standing. Now, mind you, it's been 30 seconds. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to reload. I break the action. I can't get the primer out of the gun. It's stuck. Now, I will clean this thing religiously. Can't get the primer out. Here come the does. They're walking. All 6 of them are walking back, right back. They're under 20 yards. They're walking back at me. So now I'm sitting there. I'm like, is he dead? Did I miss? Did I smoke him? Do I reload and risk spooking these deer again? Where is he? He does a 30-yard loop. He gets to where the does were. He's standing there. I can see his antlers in the sunlight. Standing there. And his nose is in the air. And I'm like, dude, did I miss this deer? Like, did I miss? So now I'm losing it in my mentally. Like, how did I miss this deer at 12 yards? So eventually the does come back in. It's been 10 minutes. I'm trying to figure out if this deer is still there or not. I'm trying to reload while not spooking any of these animals, get a second shot, not know what's going on. I get reloaded. All the does came back in. I look back up. I can't find the deer. Where is he? Now, this is a good deer. This is 130-inch deer. Like, this is a respectable buck. Any which way to Sunday for me. Now I'm losing my mind, right? So I get reloaded. Does come back in. I saw a spike came in chasing more does. Like, I saw 15 deer that morning. It was awesome. It was an awesome morning in the woods. Beautiful. Beautiful. An hour and a half goes by. All the deer clear. I climb down. I go to where the shot is. No blood. I go to where he stopped the first time. No blood. I go to where he stopped the third time and had his nose in the air. Now I'm thinking to myself, like, what he was doing. Like, was he scent checking? Like, what was he doing? Like, it looked like he was scent checking after I shot him. So did I miss clean and he was trying to scent check to see what the threat was? Is he scent checking for does and doesn't give a shit because I missed clean? Or is he mortally wounded and he's dead right there? I have no idea at this point. So I go to where he was standing. I find nothing. I missed this deer at 12 yards. Now this is lost number 2 now. I'm losing it. What the hell? Like, useless. What happened? Is my gun fucked up? Excuse me. Is my gun messed up? Like, it was it me? Like, how do you know, right? I start walking back to my tree stand. Boom, pile of blood. I was like a couple yards off because it was so thick. So now everything changes. Now I'm like, how is there a pile of blood when he acted the way he did? So I find, boom, blood trail, blood trail, blood trail. I went like 10 yards, find blood. Okay, now I shot this buck frontal at 12 yards. 12 yards with a muzzleloader. Dead deer, right? Blood looked great. I waited, called my grandfather. Louis coming. Let's go look for this deer. So, long story short, I got the reinforcements show up. No blood trail. All the blood that I saw for the first 5 to 10 yards was only the blood that was there. Like, legit, it was like a 10-yard blood trail, and that was it. There was a little bit of brown hair. Come to terms with the fact that I grazed this deer's brisket. Like, so something you never think about. I don't know how many people that are going to listen to this have ever shot their muzzleloader from 18 feet at 12 yards straight down, because your scope is mounted 2 inches higher than your barrel. So at that distance, your bullet hasn't had a chance to climb yet to meet where those two cross. So the point of aim, point of impact is at least a 2-inch difference at that distance. So if I didn't hold high enough, at that angle, I grazed his brisket. And judging by how he reacted, how he was scent checking and just walked away, didn't run away, the does that stuck around, that's what happened. I grazed his brisket. He's not dead, 100%. He's just, because there was literally 10 feet of blood. It was just a little bit of brown hair. Now I went from being a loser to being a 2-time loser. I am beside disgusted, beside myself. What are you going to do? Now I'm back to work. This is now going into the 3rd week of November. I have had 2 opportunities that I've screwed up royally on. Am I going to get a third? How many, you work all hard just for 1 opportunity, never mind 2, and I screwed up both of them on respectable deer. So whatever, it's maybe I'm having an off year, whatever it is. I go back to work. I have a few more days of work. Now phase 2 of my rockcation happens. I completely canceled the Ohio trip instead of rescheduling it. I completely canceled it because why would I want to go Ohio when this is happening at home, right? Back in Rhode Island, back with the muzzleloader. I was talking to the boys. Somebody said, go back to that stand. You had a good hunt. I went back to that stand. I've checked the gun.
Whoa. Who was the somebody?
Louis. Madman's telling me, listen, it's been a week. It was a week. It was exactly a week from my mishap there. I was like, dude, that's a good spot. I know it's a good spot. He's like, dude, go back there. Everything you said made sense.
I I think you were like, how long would you wait after that? And I was like, I'd go back the next day.
That's exactly what you said, actually.
Yeah.
I'd go back that
And my
afternoon.
grandfather said the same thing. My grandfather said the same thing. He was like, "Well, I was worried about it because we walked around looking for the deer. It's not
Right.
like I just touched the gun off, but
It's
Right.
the
But
teens of November,
part
bro.
of that, exactly. That's the big thing. If it was September, October on an
Yeah.
early season archery deer, that a little different maybe. But that time of year, man, that just
don't care.
get back in there.
Just go hunt. Be aggressive.
well, I did, and so that morning went back in. Another beautiful morning. I did not rattle. I am not enjoying the woods like I should because I'm sitting there, sun's rising, and I'm like struggling. Like I'm not at work. I'm in the woods, and I'm telling these are conversations I'm having. Like, listen, you need to enjoy this. Like, this is why this is why you do what you do. Like, this is you're in the woods in the teens of November, prime time. Like, you got a muzzleloader. Like, the sun's up. Like, enjoy it. But how do you enjoy it when I'm a 2-time loser right now? You know.
Not to mention, just the normal wear and tear in the grind of the season, right? I talk about it a lot. The lack of sleep, the lack of food. You get tired and ornery as is. Then
100%.
you add some mishaps,
Right.
or some major mishaps, like it weighs heavy on you, right?
Agreed, 100%. Especially, it's not like I'm just winging it. Like I put in hours and hours and hours of effort to go and have these opportunities to not capitalize on. So, like,
Right.
anybody that's about it like that, you're going to be more hard on yourself than you should be.
Right.
So, struggling with that, sitting in the tree, and I wish I wanted to bring the bow. I'm a bow hunter through and through, but I lost my release. Like even though I'm capable with the bow with my old wrist strap, it just doesn't feel right. So I wish I brought it, but I didn't. Anyway, I'm back in the saddle, back in that same spot. The deer comes in. Now I can't remember the date. It was exactly a week later. This only deer I saw. It's like this buck was like, and I hate to act like it's when shit like that happens, you just like, listen, give me redemption. Like, give me one. Like, give me a win. Send me a deer, right? This buck just comes in from the north, walks right at me. Pretty much same spot as the other one, except maybe 15 yards away instead of 12. Completely broadside. I saw rack. I was like, let's go. I put it on him, dropped the hammer. He went 20 yards and died in sight. Dead deer. Anybody that knows me knows I've had a hell of a year outside of the deer woods. On top of it all, like, this has been a year to test a lot of us. A lot of us have had a rough year. A lot of things happening. Plus now it's November, it's game time, and I've had these mishaps. Dude, I've never had a deer mean. I've had 2 deer mean the world to me. The one with my daughter, and this buck. That third opportunity buck. Dude, I climbed down. I didn't text anybody. I didn't call anybody. I watched this deer die. I climbed down. I went and sat with this deer. And no shit, dude, the world hit me. Dude, I cried. I am a grown ass man. I sat there and cried with that deer. Like, I FaceTimed my daughter. I was emotional, right? Like, wow, like, thank you. Like, thank you. Like, I needed that, right?
Yeah.
I FaceTimed my daughter. Um, my girl went in the room, woke her up, like, baby, it's daddy. And she was waking up all groggy. And I turned the phone and I look at the deer. She's like, you got one. Dude, I lost it. I broke down. I'm not man enough, I'm not proud enough not to say it, dude. That shit hit me. That was the most emotion I've ever had with an animal. And he would have been a sick buck. He's got a lot of character, but he broke off his right main beam. Like, he had 2 main beams and he broke one off fighting. And which, I mean, it still gives him a lot of character. It makes that deer really special. But yeah, I mean, not that it matters, but to me, that deer means a lot. And yeah, so I got to win. That was my third opportunity. I got to win.
I think as like going through the motions of the deer season and like always on the grind and always after it constantly, like it weighs a ton on you. And not to add that like we do what we do as far as filming and all the other things and social media and all that, and that puts a huge weight on your shoulders. Like, you know, and I remember I had a similar situation, but it was during turkey season where like my goal was to shoot a certain amount of I wanted to tag out with my bow, right? And it was like one of the first years. And like, bro, I'd shot one, hit it, it ran away, shot and missed another one. Like I'm talking close, you know, with the bow. And then I shot a Jake and I killed the Jake. And I same thing, walked up to it with a bow and I emotionally just like collapsed because it was like all of it just coming in at once and then exploding. And you're just like, oh
100%.
my God. You're just like, I can't believe like it came together. Like fail, fail, fail. And you're just like down, but you're just grinding just to make it happen. And then it comes together and you just explode. And you're just like, oh my God, just a sigh of relief. And just like the world is all back to normal. And like I can still do it because you put such a burden and such a stress relief on yourself, you know, like it's tough. It's super tough.
100%. Well, what we do takes a lot of time. It takes a lot
Mm.
of to do it at the level that we try to do it at, and the amount of time that we put in preparation on top of it all to go and then spend that time and then feel like you're wasting it, especially when you got a family,
Mm-hmm.
and a job and everything else. Like to go and waste that time, it's you're hitting yourself at all angles, and like you said, the filming and the pressure and all of it. So yeah, unless you've experienced that, you don't,
You know,
it's something else, man. It really is. It's something else.
well,
Isn't it kind of funny how like all the trials and tribulations you go through in life and the negative things and the stuff you have to endure and without getting too deep into it, just the bullshit of life, right? And it's just like you're constantly just getting punched in the face and like you can lose it at any moment, right? With all the hardships and you keep it together. And then when the one good thing happens, that's when you lose it.
mm-hmm.
Right.
I,
Definitely.
When the good thing happens.
I
Right.
mean, it's crazy because like we like you Seth said was like we put ourselves out there vulnerable to the world. You know, as far as like like we take away time from our family. We take time away from our jobs. We take time away from the normal everyday because we have that drive, that love and that passion for this. So like and there's only I mean in all reality, man, there's like a 14-day window that we wait 365 days for to like completely and utterly have that one opportunity at what we would want for a tag puncher. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not, and we've then now we are all in our mid 30s where we're past that filling tags to fill tags. Like we are now mature deer hunter. We are maturing as outdoorsmen ourselves. So we're looking for a certain opportunity at a certain caliber of animal. And when it comes and the stars align and there's a mishap or a failure in it, we lose our shit. Like in all reality, lose our shit because you have that one opportunity of that animal being in front of you and having that ideal situation to be able to take that animal and then mess it up. Now, that animal now is back vulnerable for somebody else to take that animal too. So that stress is weighing on you. And like there's just a lot of emotions and roller coasters rides that you go through and you're just like, what the fuck? And then when it actually falls together, dude, it's just like, uh and you just lose it, bro. Like you just it's
100%. It's like a wave, dude. Like I'll never forget that. I will never forget sitting with that deer as long as I live.
mhm.
Ever. It was something. Again, now I mean, well, I forget which one you said it a little while ago, but like without having my two mishaps prior to, would I have experienced that?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, probably not. It would just be another deer. Or
it's yeah, because then it would have chalked up to, well, you put the time in, you play it smart, you do it right, you put you prepare. That's why I'm successful.
uh
So it like you justify the work you put in when you have a successful clean hunt. But
right.
when you have a dirty season like I had, you had all these other stupid shit happen on top of life, and we go to the woods as it's our we go to the woods at this point. It's not because we want to; it's because we have to, right? Like
Mhm.
the woods it's in our blood. Like this is life.
Mm.
And so you have the world's kicking your ass, but yeah, so you push to the woods even harder. And then now when the woods is kicking your ass, now it's like you said, it's everything is just a whirlwind. I wouldn't have had that moment without that bullshit.
Mhm.
Mm.
So, and I didn't really put that, you really have to talk about it to put it into perspective, you know, because you appreciate it when it's happening. You're like, wow, like this is why I do what I do right here.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like grown ass man sitting with a dead deer. And dude, I remember I was fixing his hair. Like I have never been more appreciative to kill an animal in my life. Like legit. And I can comfortably say after talking about it with you guys right now, like I can comfortably say like that was a special moment that I'm glad the bullshit happened to be able to put me in that position, to be able to appreciate that situation. Because like you have to like look back and to be able to see what happened.
Do you think that it was like more of like a slow me down, humbling kind of moment too, where it was like you know, and I think that we've all been in this position where we like kind of take that stuff for granted. You know what I'm saying? And you just kind of like, all right, I'm
100%.
chasing this deer. All right, killed this deer. All right, cool. Hang it up. All right, I'm on to the next one. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, we
Well,
take a lot of
like you
that shit for
exactly.
granted.
And you get so caught up being better and chasing, climbing the ladder and your own goals and your own success,
Mhm.
never mind adding what we do to it.
Right.
We got to be outdoor drive. We got to be successful. We got to kill a stud. I killed a deer 100 inches with his broken antlers,
Mhm.
and that meant more to me than 150 inch. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, I've all the 130 inch deer that I've killed, I've never acted like that. But
No.
this 100 inch broke buck slapped me in the face. Like, wow. And then, like you said, like it slowed you down. Like, listen, don't forget why you do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm.
Don't forget what brought you here. So I 100% agree with what you just said. That makes a lot of sense.
See, you want to shoot a 150, 140, you want to shoot giant deer all the time, but I think that a lot of us we get lost in that like chasing those mature deer that like when you shoot a smaller deer or whatever, you just kind of like like it's kind of like that saying guys will say, "Oh, it's not the biggest deer in the woods, but it'll fill the freezer." No, bro, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with the size of the deer, and it's not going to fill the freezer. That's filling a void in you of why we do this. And like, you need to appreciate that 60-inch deer as much as you do that 150-inch deer, or you should appreciate that 50-inch deer as much as you do that 50-inch deer if you shot it when you were 15 years old, right? I mean, like,
Right.
every deer should have, or every animal, every life that you take, you should have some type of appreciation. There's a reason why you pulled that trigger. You didn't just you didn't pull that trigger just for an Instagram photo, bro. Like, you did it inside of you, and what comes out of your mouth is totally different. Like, you should have to appreciate all those deer. And we've all been in that moment, bro. Like, I mean, let's not get it twisted. Some people might not admit it or not, but like, you kind of just like throw it to the wayside, but it's like, dude, those those animals, or those ones, like, it's not for the love or likes online, man. Like, we do this for a reason, dude. Like, we appreciate all those animals and those stories that come behind it, and those failures just make you and remind you why we go and we do this. Like, yo, slow down, humble yourself, enjoy why we do this, because this season's about to be over, like, and you kind of get
100%.
lost in that, man. And it's sad, and it's tough to say because there's like so many things that lead up to it, but like, you just get so caught up in the everyday of the hunting, I guess, and you just like, you take that shit for granted all the time.
No doubt. 100%. That's why I love that you and Steve smoke cigars after a successful turkey.
Mhm.
because it makes you slow down and it makes you appreciate what just happened. Like you were saying, it
Mhm.
makes you enjoy it, you know? Yeah.
You have to, man. You have to, no matter what. I mean, like, you always have to just kind of, suck it all in and enjoy it. Like, even if, I mean, I find myself at times, and I bet, there's a lot of people that just like, they shoot the animal and then, all right, now we got to drag it out. All right, got it in the truck, hang it up,
Mhm.
quarter it, cut it up. But it's like,
It's
Always in
work.
a hurry.
yeah, it's like chill, bro. Like sit down, relax, take it all in, relive the story, call people, enjoy it. Like there's a reason why we do this. And I mean there's a reason, and we can take this back all the way to some of our heritage where like our ancestors before us. I mean like look at Nakai. Nakai is one of those dudes that like gives tobacco to everything that and there's a reason for that. Like there's a reason that you have to do that. Like that's you're taking a life of something. Like you need to just take it back and enjoy it. Like those moments only come so many times a year. Like you need to enjoy every single moment of it. Like
Hmm.
that's truly
Hmm.
what it's about. Like I don't care if you're taking the most mature animal in the world or the smallest animal in the world. Like they all mean the same. You just got to enjoy them.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100% guilty of that. Like, all right, dead deer. Like, let's get it quartered up. Let's get it in the fridge. Like,
Yeah.
and then,
And
and
even
especially my grandfather, man. Like that all the time. He's like, "You in a hurry? You in a hurry?" And it's like, damn. Like after, I'm like so mad at myself because I'm like, "Why are you rushing? Like, why are you in a hurry? Like, stop." You
Mhm.
know. Um,
I
and
find
we started to. Go ahead.
no, I find myself doing that all the time. You're in a rush. It's funny and telling stories, right? Like November 9th this year, right? Which is like, a fire day, November 7th, November 9th, whatever it is. And there's a video of it on my phone, I'll tell you. One of those shit moments where you're just like, what the fuck am I doing, right? Like so my dad texted me, and you guys all probably remember this. It was November 7th, dude. It's 23 degrees. Northwest wind, everything's perfect. It's like the rut of the rut. I had some of the best hunting days of my life up until this moment, like killer. My dad texted me at 7:30 in the morning. Shot 2 deer. I'm like, "Dad, it's 7:30 in the morning. November 9th. What are you doing texting me?" You know? And he's like, you around? Can you come and help me?" And at the moment I'm getting mad and I'm upset. I'm like, "Dude, are you kidding me? It's the middle of the rut. Like why? What do you mean?" And you take those things for granted. But there's going to be that one day that I'm going to wish that my dad called me on November 9th to come and drag deer for him. You know what I'm saying? Like those
Hmm.
and you just get so caught up in everyday life that you're just or everyday grind of the out, of hunting that you get pissed about it. And it's like, no, he wanted the camaraderie of me to be there and help him, track the deer and drag the deer and tell the story and enjoy the hunt like I did when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? And like you get kind of ate up and chasing those big deer and you're just like, so sure than shit, it was 9:30 and I got out of the stand and I went and helped them, But like at first you're mad, and you shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think
Yep.
that like when your daughter is chasing mature bucks, wouldn't it upset you that like she didn't come and help you? You know what I'm saying? Like, cause that's what you all
Right.
did
Right.
together. Like that's those things, and we kind of get so taken back and just get so wound up about chasing those deer.
do you ever think about how many times when you were a kid, your dad sacrificed getting out of his stand to come get your little ass deer that you shot?
Bro,
Yep.
Or the funny thing is too is like, I was fortunate enough that my dad took me a lot when I was little, like Seth does with Emma now, right? How
can't hunt,
many
right?
times? How many? How many times did my dad, you know, decrease his opportunity to shoot a giant buck because he chose to have me in the tree with him instead, right? Because
Mhm.
I couldn't have helped at that age, right? Like I'm definitely an X factor going against him with his success that morning, but he took me anyways.
Well, how
You
many
know?
times did you get
And
yelled at for moving in the deer stand? So that every time that he yelled at you decreased his chances of shooting a good deer.
yeah, or not even yelling at me, just me moving or
Mhm.
making a noise. You're right. But he took me anyways. He never left me at home. Like he
Mhm.
always allowed me to
Same.
go. And then I look back, and I have some friends the same age as me who's, unfortunately for them, their dads were a little bit more selfish than my dad was.
Mhm.
Their dad left them at home, right? And as we got older, 18, 19, 20 years old, my experience and my knowledge was a little bit more than theirs,
Mhm.
and that's because my dad chose to take me unselfishly and shared the woods with me. And now here I am getting pissed off at him for calling me out of the tree. And like, how soon you forget how many times, how much
Yeah.
sacrifices he made for me. And now I don't want to sacrifice for him.
Yep. Yep.
It's kind of crazy because like my dad will ask me to like go hunting all the time. Dad, Trev, bring me hunting. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, Dad, like I got a big buck on camera. Like, can it wait? Well, bro, it's fuck December 7th. I haven't hunted with my dad all season. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you kind of, it's crazy because you just you sometimes you just gotta humble yourself, bro. And like I know Seth, we we took the trains on the wrong track here for a second. Like it's just, but I think it's something
Well,
that
you
needs
know
to be
something
talked
though.
about.
You know something. How many other people going through this season that needed to hear that though?
Mm.
No, it's
You know, it was so what? So be it. Let it happen, because it takes situations like this for us to realize it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes you just got to hear it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that it was a humbling situation for you, and you were really, you got that, I know it's kind of crazy, but like that come to God moment, right? Like, yo,
Mhm.
slow down, bro. Like, take it all in and enjoy it because those days aren't, just enjoy what it is. So, well, take us back into it, Seth.
Yeah. All right. So that happened.
I forgot we got more. There's
Oh yeah.
more.
Good thing we know there's more. We would
So,
just kept going.
So,
dude, right?
thanks for taking the ride right here on the.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're already like an hour and 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now we're coming into the end of November. I'm begging. I know in Massachusetts my days are limited for bucks because as a rule my bucks disappear the day of shotgun season opens. So what is that? What was that, the 26th or something? The 26th or the 28th this year?
Yeah.
Something like that. So I'm counting down the days before I'm out of luck. So now here we are, December 7th, and I never killed a buck in Mass. So well, December 6th, let's go back to December 6th. December 6th, I never killed a buck in Mass. Um, and now the rut's over. But we've had these experiences. My grandfather killed a good buck the other day, and I was
Yeah.
able to
Phenomenal.
slow down and enjoy it. Right?
Did you slow down and enjoy it?
100%. 100%. It's happened after I was humbled, so maybe that helped, and
Mm.
and we've done a thing actually um this year and the end of last year and this year. Instead, if we can, if allowed, we stopped, him and I have stopped cutting up the deer after we kill it. We'll hang it and do it the next day. So instead of spending the time working, we sit there, we call the boys, we have a beer, and we enjoy the kill. And I'm very thankful that that's happened, um, because it just, instead of, like you said, instead of rushing to get it done, get it in the cooler, get it in the refrigerator, okay, got to cut up, move on to kill another one. Let's stop and enjoy the one you just killed.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that, and that was good. Yeah. So that happened. So now, I'm on the board. He's back on the board. Feeling better, obviously, right? Now it's December 6th, though. Mass is coming to an end for, I'm hoping to arrow a couple more does before the season's out because I have a shitload of them. Now it's rut's over. Now the old lady wants to get back in the woods. And I want to bring my daughter now, and bird hunting's pick it up now, right? So now deer for me really starts to wind down and I go back to birds. Anyway, I get a phone call this morning. It's funny that we did this podcast today. I get a phone call this morning from the neighbor to my Massachusetts spot. Calls me, texts me, says, "Hey, I got a hunting thing. Can I call you?" I'm at work, so I park my machine, whatever. I get out, give him a call. "Hey, what's up?" "Hey, man, I found this deer all jacked up, not looking good. What should I do?" "All right, well, it's shotgun season. Somebody shot it." I'm like, "Dude, you should, put it down, and I'll come by after and help you." He's like, "Yeah, I should do that." And he's like, "Do I need to call somebody to pick it up?" I'm like, "No, man. It's if put it down so that way it doesn't suffer, and I'll come by after work. I'll throw a tag on it, and we'll take care of it." All right. I hang up, go back to work. No big deal. An hour goes by. I get a picture. Look at his buck. I'm like, "Damn, what a shame. That's a nice buck." He's like, "Yeah, that's crazy." He's like, "I don't know what happened." Well, I go back to work. 5 minutes later, I'm showing a buddy. I'm like, "Yo, look at this buck." Neighbor to the neighbor sent it to me from my spot next door. And he's like, "Damn, what's that?" I'm looking at it. I'm like, "What is?" I see pus on his shoulder. I'm like, "What?" I call him, like, "Hey, man, I thought you said that I think I shot this morning." He's like, "Yeah, I heard a shot." And I was like, and I saw her all wounded. I'm like, he gives me more of the story. The thing was on the ground, rolling around. It was all disoriented. I'm like, "Is that pus coming out of his shoulder?" He's like, "Yeah, it's like a scab, pussy wound." And I'm like, "Dude, I lost a buck 3 weeks ago. Shot right where that pus is on its right side. And its G2 was split just like that deer." He's like, "No way." Yeah, now I'm freaking out. Now my brain's ticking, and I'm like, "Dude, it's been 26 days since I shot that deer, or 28 days. It's almost been a month. Almost been a month with a couple of days. There's no way, right? There's no fucking way." Long story short, I get over there after work, the longest work day of my life. I get over there, dude, that's my buck. Sure as shit, lethal shot. I have no idea how this deer made it 28 days. I could not tell you, dude. It's that split G2 buck that I was chasing all year.
Mm-hmm.
Stud, absolute dude. I'm beside myself. Um, Luckily, he lets me wrap my tag around it. We tag it up, we throw it in the John Deere, we bring it to my truck, dude, and I am still not over it. It's been sub how many hours? Uh, my Massachusetts, I have wrapped the tag around a Massachusetts buck. Um, my shot was exactly where I thought it was. The exit hole is exactly where my trail camera said it was. That arrow went double lung in that deer. Now, obviously, I didn't put a hole through both lungs because that deer would not have made 28 days.
Mm.
There was scabbed. It was scabbed. Both holes were scabbed and pussy infected.
Top lobe of the offside.
So what's crazy is I sent you guys the picture, but the exit was higher than the entrance. So I said when I hit him high. I think he moved his shoulder, his front side leg as I connected, and it kicked the broadhead up on the exit, which is why I didn't parlay that deer. And I had mentioned I used a fixed blade. I carry a fixed blade in the mechanical. Had I shot that deer with a mechanical, that might have been a different story. I might have cut more. I would have hit a different artery. I would have cut more lung. I might have recovered the deer that night. I don't have an answer for you. I don't know, but I put a very trusted fixed blade through what should be a double lung, uh, and he made it 28 days. He obviously got septic. The infection finally got into his blood. He got disoriented and he was dying. I cannot believe that he died and was found the way it was. I cannot believe that he called me and not somebody else. What are the chances he called the guy that shot the deer already? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's wild. He let me wrap my tag around it and not his because he knew I killed it. I shot it. Well, he helped put it down. Thank God. Nobody wants an animal to suffer. I definitely do not. I'm still upset about it. It wasn't a perfect shot. Obviously, had it been a perfect shot, this would have never happened. But these things happen, and I still do not understand. Um, I am going to do an autopsy tomorrow. I don't know. I recovered my deer. He is an absolute stud, and that's where we're at. It is December 7th, and that is my deer season.
So it's just mind blown. Like there's every reason for I think everything happens for a reason, right? Like 100%. Like there was all the steps that you had taken throughout the season with such high, and it seems as if, like I said, punch that tag, punch that tag, punch that tag, punch that tag, and then humble, and then the world explodes. You took in we'll say the non-typical deer. You come to a realization of what it is, and then shortly thereafter, you were gifted what is your biggest deer to date.
That's an interesting way to look at it. 100%. 100%.
It's just crazy
I
to me.
yeah.
Like it's wild to me that deer had survived for such a long time. I mean, we've seen the shots of what it is. Like it's just wild. It's just absolutely wild.
I I am not over it. I continue. I am like biting at the bit to go and see like the anatomy and the
Yes.
organs. I got them in the cooler so I can. Me and my grandfather are going to, who has killed many, 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 many deer in his life. Um, I've killed quite a few. I've tracked many. All of the people we've trust and know. Nobody has an answer to how that deer is not belonged and didn't die in under 100 yards. Uh, so I'm biting at the bit, but he cannot fathom how it happened. I can't fathom how it happened. Nobody, it's like the stars had to have aligned for this deer to end up with my tag around it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, some dude, my girl's always telling me stop having a bad attitude because bad things will keep happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is there truth to that? I truly don't know. Maybe it's it's a crazy thing, man. But I know the stars had to align for that deer to be 3/4 of a mile away from where I shot him.
Jesus.
And the neighbor who found him decided to call me, who was the one that shot him in the first place. Like he could have called anybody, but he called me, and I was able to put it together. Like we were able to come together with it. Like now he's excited. You know what I mean? My father-in-law is excited. Like my daughter's excited. Like, you know what I mean? Like the story is concluded. Like now I have an ending. Granted, it didn't happen the way we wanted to, right? Right. Like we want a merciful, I care about these animals like crazy. Like, nobody wants that as an ethical hunter.
And
I
a
can
lot of
only
people
hope
come
that
across these, a lot of people come across them dead all the time, and then wrap their tags on them. Like, it's a closure of the story and the season, you know what I'm saying? And for you, like, this thing is
100%.
like, I mean, it's, it's the ultimate ending.
Yeah, I'm also glad he was found the way, because you could have found him this winter as a deadhead, and the hide would have been gone, and the vitals would have been gone. So now you
It
can
answers.
actually do your autopsy, and you'll have you will know exactly what happened.
It answers all the
Right.
questions.
It
Right.
sounds
Yeah.
like you said, though, if that arrow kicked like it did, it was like a classic kind of like high shoulder no man's land
Mm-hmm.
after it kicked
Yeah.
on the way
So
through.
I would love to have,
It,
find a doctor that can be on the podcast, because is there a no man's land, or was his lungs weren't inflated to the maximum capacity? Because the lungs, if you're under the spine, you're in the lung, right?
Right.
That's confirmed. There is no such thing as no man's land. It's
Right.
backstrap, it's spine, and then you're in the lung cavity. So, but the lungs change when they're inflated or
Right.
deflated. So if I hit him, I hit him a pinch high. I put a fixed blade through the shoulder blade, which is why I chose to run a fixed blade in that particular situation that evening, because I was expecting that. So I'm not upset with my decision, but if just, the way the stars aligned, that thing kicked up, maybe his lungs were deflated and I caught the top on the entrance and it kicked up and I caught the top on the exit or missed the exit.
So
But then again, I don't know.
my thing would be this then. If that's the case and it's technically no man's land, then and you didn't hit anything vital or something to put the deer down, then every deer that's hit in no man's land dies?
Well, if it gets infected and like gets septic.
Well, they're all going to get infected, obviously. They're wild animals in the wild. I mean, like, if it's a complete pass-through in that area, I'm just playing devil's advocate at this point, right? Like,
yeah.
Right. Well, in this particular situation, we know, confirmed, lung was hit. We have pink lung matter on the arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Pass through 2 holes, blood coming out the exit on the trail camera, and pink foaming lung blood on the ground.
Yeah.
I put a blade through his lungs.
Yeah. At some point, nicked the high lobe, whatever the case may be. One lung
whatever
down,
the
whatever.
case may be.
Yeah.
What's your guess? I mean, based on what you're saying, my thought would be top of front lung and miss the back lung. Normally out of a tree stand, and if you hit it high, your best case is you're going to miss the front lung and catch the top of the back lung, right?
Mm.
But with your exit wound higher than your entry wound, you might have caught the top of the front lung.
Which now, pause that statement. Entrance is exit is higher than the entrance, but the exit was the one that was bleeding.
Jesus. That's wild.
Because you're tracking the deer. I got 2 holes.
I'm excited to see what the autopsy results are. Like that's gonna be we can motherfuck this the whole way to Sunday, but like in all reality,
100%.
like what's gonna tell the truth is what the answers can reveal when he does an autopsy.
And make sure
you put the camera on a tripod and video this for National Discovery.
Oh, it's gonna be a little graphic. Okay, so his neck is not as full. Granted, so now give me your opinion. In my experience, his neck should still be swollen. 100%.
Yeah, because of the run. He's been fucked up for 28 days.
They're starting to come up,
That's what I'm getting at.
And the nutrients is coming down in that deer as far as the stored energy and.
But even less because he's
healthy deer, healthy, middle-aged, mature buck. Right now, neck still swollen. Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
3/4.
His neck has loose skin.
Yeah, because he has a wound.
He's been wounded.
The wound. Right? Not just the wound.
Well, let me finish. Hold on. Because this is what I'm getting at. His overall body health is what's messing with me a little bit. So now he's had a hole through his chest cavity for 28 days. He just now, the sepsis got into his bloodstream, got sick, whatever that cause of death is. His overall body mass is good. The only sign of he lost weight, I can't see his ribs. Now, if he's got a hole through his chest cavity, he would have been not eating. He would have been lost body mass. His shoulders look healthy. His belly looks good. Like the only thing I can notice is, and his hocks still stink. Let's not, which be that whatever, you'll still smell it for a while, obviously. But like his hocks are still black, but his neck is loose, like he isn't swollen like he should be still. So obviously he's starting to lose nutrition. He's been affected. But it's been 28 days. If he hasn't eaten in 28 days, he would be skin and bones, and he would not be 3/4 of a mile away. He would have been dead already, right? Granted, I know they're tough as hell, but like, make this make sense. He's got blood in his mouth, so that means with a lung shot, they bleed out of their mouth and nose. So has he been bleeding internally for 28 days?
You'll know in the morning.
Did he get a paper? Dude, wild. I've never seen my grandfather confused on a deer kill before, and he was like, I don't know.
Wow.
Well,
that's wild.
I'll say this to put it in perspective because I can't help but to think it, and I didn't really think of it until you said it earlier, Seth. We tried to do this podcast 2 weeks ago, maybe right after you killed after you actually killed, and scheduling didn't work out. Whatever, the holidays, my truck, whatever, it just didn't work out. We're finally sitting down on November 7th, and we're recording this podcast. December 7th. We're finally recording this podcast on the day that you find that this podcast should have been recorded before you found that deer. So for whatever reason,
this story would
the
have
three
never
of us
came
are
to
right now telling this story. And call me corny, whatever you want to do. The way I look at it, the stars aligned. Everything that we've ever done, all three of us, me, Trev, Seth, all the bad decisions we made, right now, we are all in the right place at the right time. Like, for whatever reason, it's meant to be that we're here right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Salute to that, huh?
Well,
it's just
boys,
crazy how it just all comes together.
No doubt.
I think that's a good way to end this podcast.
Seth, you know how to do it? You want to do it? How would Lou do it?
What, like a kangaroo? It's not jumping around, the little marsupial that he is.
Well,
right,
guys,
who's closing us out?
Go ahead, Stevie. You close this out. I know you want to do it.
All right, everybody. Thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.